Dandavat pranams, Hare Krishna, everyone. I'm very honored and also very embarrassed to be given this opportunity to give some little bit of Pushpanjali to Srila Rupa Goswami on his tirobhav tithi, such an important personality for us. So let me begin. My name is Narasimha Das, disciple of Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshulamitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtapetam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadanti Swapadanti Kam Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya Hema Badivyas Shavisundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Vancha Kalpa Tarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Parevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So first of all, I have to offer my obeisances to my Shiksha Guru, my Diksha Guru, my father, my life and soul, Nichilir Varishtom Vishnupad, Haramahamsa Paribrajaka Shtarya, Asto Tarasata Shri Shri Mad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Also, to my dearmost Shiksha Gurus, Srila Gaur Govinda Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj, and to my Param Gurus, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj and Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. All the way up the line, my humble pranams, and most especially on this day, to Srila Rupa Goswami. So Srila Rupa Goswami has a special place in our lineage because Srila Rupa Goswami, he knows the mood and heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in our line we are called Rupanuga. What is the difference from Raganuga to Rupanuga? The speciality. Raganugas may not be Rupanugas, but Rupanugas are already Raganuga. So our Gurudev, Srila Narayan Maharaj, would explain like this, that we have this particular mood we're trying to cultivate and develop, some speciality, some attachment to Srila Rupa Goswami, because he knows better than anyone what is the mood of Mahaprabhu. So to capture the mood of Mahaprabhu in our hearts, then we are putting so much heartfelt endeavor into the glorification and to the service and the propagating of the mission of Srila Rupa Goswami. So one pastime I wanted to dive into a little bit to glorify him is a very special pastime to my heart, and I had a very surreal experience where Srila Gurudev, he just brought this pastime into my life in a very nice way. This pastime is the meeting of Sri Vallabhacharya with our Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Jiva Goswami. Now, in this pastime, many devotees should be familiar, but I've been relishing and thinking about this pastime for over a week, leading up to Srila Rupa Goswami's disappearance. But I was feeling like I need to brush up. I don't really have any realization. I just have some enthusiasm, small amount of enthusiasm, small amount of greed, and so somehow I'm getting a little bit of benefit from my Gurudev. And so I've been thinking about this pastime, and I was speaking to one dear devotee who is the disciple of one of our near and dear sannyasis to Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Van Goswami Maharaj. And in speaking to one of his disciples, I was expressing how your Guru Maharaj has so much close relationship with my Gurudev. Please, you give to me some of his Harikatha. So I wanted to hear some of his Harikatha. And he said, oh, I'm transcribing something right now. I was like, perfect. I'm preparing. Somehow or other, some devotees thought of me that I should give some Pushpanjali for Srila Rupa Goswami. So I'm preparing a little bit to speak. And I would like to study from a senior personality who is close to my Gurudev. And what do you know? This exact katha from 7 years ago that his disciple was transcribing was on the meeting of Vallabhacharya and Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Jiva Goswami. So my Gurudev was somehow able to be merciful and provide what he knew was in my heart directly to me through his disciple, my very, very, very senior godbrother. So I'm very thankful for that. So in this interaction, Sri Vallabhacharya is very advanced, learned personality. And he comes to the home of Srila Rupa Goswami. Now, Srila Rupa Goswami, as we know, is both the uncle and guru to Srila Jiva Goswami. And so Srila Jiva Goswami is there serving him, and he's a young boy at this time. Srila Rupa Goswami is working on his text, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the ocean of the nectar of devotion. So, in his work on this text, Sri Vallabhacharya arrives, and he's inquiring as to what he's working on. So when he expresses, oh, I'm working on this text, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Sri Vallabhacharya is very delighted to hear it. Oh, the ocean of the nectar of devotion? What a nice title. It must be such a good quality content. Please tell me more. So the verse he was working on was Bhukti Mukti Spriha Yavat Pishachi Ridi Vartate Tavad Bhakti Sukha Shya Trakatam Abhyudayo Bhavet. It's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-2-22. So the translation, the material desire to enjoy the material world and the desire to become liberated from material bondage are considered to be like two witches, and they haunt one like ghosts. As long as these witches remain within the heart, how can one feel a transcendental bliss? As long as these two witches remain in the heart, there is no possibility of enjoying the transcendental bliss of devotional service. So, pure bhakti cannot manifest if it has contamination. So actually, Srila Rupa Goswami, one of the things we're indebted for is he has given us the perfect definition of what is pure bhakti. And our Srila Gurudev would quote this over and over and over again. Anya bilashita shunyam jnana karmadya navritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktir uttama. This pure bhakti, anya bilashita shunyam, it is without any desire for one's own benefit. Jnana karmadya navritam. It is without any desire for the result or fruit of activities, without any desire for developing in karma or jnana. Anukulyena krishnanushilanam. It is with the favorable intent and desire to give pleasure to Krishna. This is pure bhakti. Srila Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he defined pure bhakti as the tendency to give pleasure to Krishna. So he is very much Rupanuga for us, of course. So Srila Rupa Goswami has given this definition. So he's given the definition of pure bhakti, and he's working on this verse later in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, describing some obstacles. He's describing these two witches. So Sri Vallabhacharya is very, very advanced and very learned personality. And so for him, he feels a little disturbed hearing the description of bhukti and mukti to be like witches. In particular, liberation, mukti, to be like a witch, right? So this concern of his manifests in him saying that maybe there's some error in the way you're translating, a little harsh language, and he gives some advice, small correction, that could be made regarding this verse. So Srila Rupa Goswami, he is the epitome of humility. So even though there is absolutely no flaw, no fault in anything he's doing, anything he's writing, anything he's speaking, no fault at all. But he takes this position of humbleness, of humility, and he accepts, oh yes, you're a very, very advanced, very scholarly personality. You are my senior in all respects. So I accept there must be some fault. Whenever anyone is doing some endeavor, like myself, then there's some fault. Clearly, you can correct me. You're qualified to correct me. So you take the time to edit and give me proper feedback and make sure my Siddhanta is perfect. What humility, that there is no fault, but this one comment, then he accepts, okay, yes, you must know best, so you please edit my grantha, my shastra, my work. Amazing personality. Who can have humility like this? But Ballabhacharya agrees. In fact, he's saying, yes, this is something I'm very good at. I'd be happy to. I just need to take bath. Let me go to the river, let me take bath. And then, after that, I'll come back, I can look over this grantha. So, how do you think Jiva Goswami responds to something like this? How would a disciple respond to hearing that someone thinks that their guru's work is ineffective? Not very favorably. Real disciple is like a lion defending his Gurudev. Like a lion. So, in this way, our Srila Jiva Goswami becomes a little bit enraged. Not a little bit, actually very fiery. Srila Jiva Goswami, even though as a young boy at this time, he was exceptionally qualified and knowledgeable. Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, he would say that association means to imbibe the mood of the sadhu. Imbibe the mood. So Srila Jiva Goswami's association with his Gurudev and uncle Srila Rupa Goswami, with his uncle Srila Sanatana Goswami, it was perfect association. He was completely imbibing the mood. And what mood did Srila Rupa Goswami have? Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam. He knew the heart and the mood of Mahaprabhu. So in this way, Srila Jiva Goswami was thinking, I have to defend my Gurudev. How can I allow this to go on? But he knows that the mood of Srila Rupa Goswami in humility is such that it would not be something so favorable if he overtly does this. So he says, oh, I have to go fetch water from the river. And so in doing so, he chooses a very particular spot to fetch water. The same spot Ballabhacharya is bathing in. So in this way, he comes and he confronts him. So he has such loyalty that he confronts him and he says that my Gurudev has manifested these shlokas. How could there be any fault in these shlokas? So he goes there and directly says, how is it possible that you can edit my Gurudev's grantha? Ballabhacharya says that your guru, he's comparing mukti or liberation to a witch, and this is not a good thing. But Sri Jiva Goswami is very, very adept and scholarly. He says, you don't understand. He is not saying these things. You have to read it properly. Bhukti mukti spriha. Spriya means desire, meaning desire is compared to a witch, not mukti itself. So in this way, he corrects Sri Vallabhacharya. And in so doing, the question has to come, has Srila Jiva Goswami made an offense to a senior Vaishnava? We're not in a format where I can wait for an answer. But our Gurudev was very firm. You must defend Guru. Without Guru Nishtha, there's no Bhakti. Guru Nishtha is the backbone of Bhakti. So Srila Jiva Goswami was defending his Gurudev. Very, very fiery like a lion, like our Param Gurudev, Acharya Keshava. So, Vallabhacharya becomes a little bit amazed. Why? Srila Jiva Goswami is so young boy, but he's very, very high class, very, very knowledgeable. And so he's able to correct Vallabhacharya. So Vallabhacharya actually is not really taking offense, he's in amazement. Oh, this boy is very qualified, very capable. He's given me some shiksha. So Vallabhacharya, he returns after taking bath to Srila Rupa Goswami, and he says, I've made a mistake. Actually, it's not my position to edit your Granta. So Srila Rupa Goswami is a little confused. Why would he change his mind? Why would he change his mood? Very, very interesting. But Sri Vallabhacharya, he's saying how this young boy, who is this young boy? Oh, he's my nephew and my disciple. Oh, he's very learned, very qualified, very advanced. He corrected me even. And I realized I didn't know the Granta that you're working on. I didn't understand it properly. Ooh. How will Srila Jiva Goswami react? What is Srila Jiva Goswami's mood? Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanena manadena kirtaniya sadahari. His mood is immersed in feeling humbler than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, giving prestige and reverence and respect to all others and taking none for himself. And in this way, he's fully immersed in his bhajan. This is his mood. But his mood is being conflicted by he's feeling that Srila Jiva Goswami has transgressed this mood. And so after Sri Vallabhacharya leaves, then the chastisement of Guru comes out. And he chastises Srila Jiva Goswami so heavily. He's telling him that, don't you know this verse, Trinadapi Sunichana? Don't you know proper Vaishnava etiquette? Don't you know how to respect your seniors? And in this way, he rejects Srila Jiva Goswami. Being rejected by the heart of Mahaprabhu, how can we process? So Srila Jiva Goswami is very lamentatious. He's thinking, if my Gurudev does not want me at his feet, what is the use of being alive? And so he goes to the river, to a location that is well known for many crocodiles. And there he waits in the den of the crocodiles, hoping that they will eat him and end his life. Because what is the point of living without Gurudev? What is the point? Srila Gurudev, Sri Guru, he's providing everything. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj would always say that the environment is always favorable. How is the environment always favorable? By the mercy of Gurudev. We're coming up right after this festival. We'll be celebrating Balaram Jayanti, the appearance of Lord Balaram. Lord Balaram is a Kanda Guru Tattva. He is the manifestation of the Tattva of Guru. He is the original Guru. And Baladev carries two things. He carries his mace and his plow. So Guru, using the mace, will beat back the anartas that are popping up so rapidly like many weeds in our garden, our Bhakti Lata Bij, our creeper in our heart. And after the mace has successfully destroyed all the anartas, then he can use the plow and till the field of the heart and set the stage so that a nice flower garden, a kunj, can grow, and then Shri Shri Radha Krishna Yugal can take seat in our heart. And once seated in our heart, oh, we can really relish. So, Guru is providing everything. So Srila Jiva Goswami is lamentatious because if you're rejected from your Gurudev, then you have nothing to live for. What is the purpose of keeping this body alive? So he sits in the den of the crocodiles waiting to die. This is his mood. Could you do? Could I do? I am not ready. I am not committed like him. But we should learn from personalities like this. This is Guru Nishta. This is Guru Nishta. And so Srila Jiva Goswami is there and he is weeping. He is weeping so deeply in separation. Now, word of this rejection comes to the ears of Srila Sanatana Goswami. Who is Srila Sanatana Goswami? He's the uncle of Srila Jiva Goswami, the brother of Srila Rupa Goswami, and considered the senior Goswami, the senior member of their group. So Srila Sanatana Goswami, he goes out to find Srila Jiva Goswami, and having heard from local villagers that there's much wailing and crying from a cavern by a river, he finds him there in the den of the crocodiles, not yet being attacked, just weeping in separation, becoming very frail and thin. What an amazing personality Srila Jiva Goswami is. That he's so attached to his Gurudev's feet. If we can learn anything, we should learn to be attached to Srila Rupa Goswami the same way Srila Jiva Goswami is attached to him. Without this type of attachment, there's no hope for us developing in our Krishna consciousness. There's no hope for us developing in our endeavor to be fixed in the mood of Radhadasyam, to be fixed in the service of Srimati Radhika and Sri Krishna. So we have to develop this type of mood. And Srila Sanatana Goswami, he takes Srila Jiva Goswami back to Srila Rupa Goswami. And he asks him, what is our mission? What is our purpose? Jiva Doi. Our purpose, our mission is to give love to all the Jivas. This is what Srila Rupa Goswami is giving. This is what Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving. This is what our Srila Gurudev and our Srila Prabhupada is giving. They're giving merciful, magnanimous, magnificent, loving compassion to all the Jivas in the form of Krishna Prem. This is what they're doing. So Srila Rupa Goswami concurs. He agrees, yes, this mood of Jiva Doi, that we are giving loving compassion to all Jivas. Yes, this is true. This is our mission. So then Srila Sanatana Goswami questions, then why have you forgotten this Jiva? And he brings Srila Jiva Goswami forward. And weeping, both parties, Srila Jiva Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami, weeping they embrace. So we should pray that we can develop this level of Nishta in our Gurudev, this level of Nishta in Srila Rupa Goswami. This is a very auspicious day for us. This is the tirobhav tithi. This is a Mahamahotsav. This is a major festival for us. Why? Why did our Gurudev establish a festival of this nature? To celebrate this personality for 3 days leading up to Balaram Jayanti. Why did he celebrate like this? Because our Gurudev was very much immersed in serving in the line of Sri Rupa Goswami. Because Sri Rupa Goswami knows 100% perfectly the heart, the mood, the desires of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and has fulfilled them as well. This is why before coming to the West, our Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, he would spend time in Radha Damodar. He would be sweeping and weeping. Rupa Goswami Kripa Koro, Rupa Goswami Kripa Koro. Without the mercy of Srila Rupa Goswami, it's impossible to develop love of God. Impossible. Srila Rupa Goswami is mandatory. His mercy is mandatory for us if we want to become one step closer to developing some love of God. Our Gurudev would always say, try at least in this lifetime to attain Ruchi. If you can attain Ruchi, you can have some taste, then from there you can gallop. But this is not an ascending process, this is a descending process. It's not that by the power and the might of my own personal endeavor I can overcome all obstacles. No, this requires mercy. Mercy comes in a very condensed, solidified, potent form in the form of Guru. And Guru is representing Srila Rupa Goswami, because his mood is the paramount mood for our lineage. And so on the tirobhav tithi of Srila Rupa Goswami, I'm offering my heartfelt pranams, my pushpanjali, thousands and thousands of times, my obeisances, that please you work through my near and dear preceptors, my Srila Gurudev, my Shiksha Gurus, my Srila Prabhupada, to imbue in me the mood that you have so deeply delved into. So I pray to the feet of Srila Rupa Goswami, please, you give me one drop of your mercy. I'll be forever indebted. Vanja kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhu varevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.